Deception is the silent currency of power, a shadowy mask worn by those who understand that truth is often too blunt a weapon. Machiavelli revealed that to grasp true power, one must master the art of illusion, hiding intentions behind carefully crafted facades. But what lies beneath these masks? And why is deception so essential to maintaining control? Have you ever wondered how the most powerful figures manipulate perception without uttering a word? How they use deception not just to hide weaknesses, but to create strength and command loyalty. In this video, we will uncover the secret behind deception and reveal how the mask of power is crafted and wielded. Prepare to see beyond appearances and learn the psychological tactics that make deception the ultimate tool in the ruthless game of influence. Deception is a concept often shrouded in negativity, associated with lies, betrayal, and moral failure. Yet in the harsh reality of power, deception is not merely a tool, it is an essential necessity. Machiavelli, the unrivaled strategist of political realism, understood that to seize and maintain control, rulers must master the art of illusion. Power, by its very nature, demands masks, facades, and carefully calculated falsehoods. Without deception, true authority becomes fragile and fleeting. At its core, deception in power is about one fundamental thing: controlling perception. People rarely act upon pure, unfiltered truth. Instead, they respond to the narratives that are crafted and presented to them. The most successful leaders are those who shape these narratives, concealing their genuine intentions behind skillfully constructed images and stories. This is not petty trickery, but a sophisticated strategic dance, a necessary layer of political and social maneuvering that preserves strength and obscures vulnerability. Why is deception indispensable? Because power attracts adversaries, enemies who search relentlessly for weaknesses to exploit. Revealing your true plans or emotions is equivalent to surrendering your advantage. Deception acts as a shield, protecting your motives and character from scrutiny, granting you freedom to maneuver without constraint. By fostering uncertainty among opponents and projecting confidence to allies, deception cultivates an environment where control thrives. Moreover, deception aligns intimately with human nature. People prefer comforting illusions over uncomfortable truths. They are drawn to the stories they want to believe, often ignoring inconvenient facts. Leaders who can weave compelling narratives that resonate with these desires gain influence far beyond their tangible power. This psychological leverage is what separates those who dominate from those who merely exist within the system. Imagine the mask not simply as a cover hiding the face, but as the creation of an entirely new identity. This mask becomes a symbol of authority and mystery, a deliberate construction designed to command attention and obedience. Machiavelli famously stated that successful rulers must be like actors on a stage performing roles expected by their audience regardless of their true nature. This theatricality is not deception for deception's sake, but a calculated performance that preserves and expands power. However, deploying deception is not without its challenges. It requires exceptional skill and delicate balance. Too much deception breeds distrust and rebellion. Too little leaves one dangerously exposed. The art lies in weaving truth and illusion so seamlessly that the audience remains convinced, credibility intact, even while critical intentions stay hidden. Maintaining this fragile equilibrium is vital for sustaining authority and prolonging influence. Deception functions as both a defensive and offensive weapon. Defensively, it misleads rivals, deflects attacks, and conceals weaknesses. Offensively, it opens avenues for surprise and strategic advantage. Leaders adept at this art move with stealth strike unpredictably, and manipulate perceptions to bend reality to their will. In practice, deception permeates every level of power. From political leaders who cloak policies in euphemism to CEOs who craft visionary narratives masking internal struggles, the mask of deception is omnipresent. It is a universal tactic, transcending time and culture, reflecting an unchanging truth about the human condition and the nature of influence. As you contemplate the necessity of deception, ask yourself, how often do appearances mask reality in your world? How do you perceive the narratives around you? More importantly, how might mastering the art of illusion enhance your own influence and authority in arenas both personal and professional? In the upcoming section, we will delve deeper into Machiavelli's explicit views on deception, his pragmatic, sometimes ruthless approach to the mask of power that has shaped leadership philosophies for centuries and continues to influence modern strategies. Niccolò Machiavelli, often misunderstood as a cynical manipulator, was in fact a keen observer of human nature and the harsh realities of political power. His writings reveal a pragmatic, unvarnished truth. Deception is not a moral failing, but a necessary strategy for those who wish to rule effectively. In Machiavelli's world, power is a game played with masks, and the ability to deceive is the ultimate currency. Machiavelli argued that rulers must be both a lion and a fox, fierce to intimidate and cunning to deceive. The lion scares off wolves, but only the fox can recognize traps. Deception is the fox's craft. It enables rulers to navigate the treacherous political landscape, avoiding dangers that brute strength alone cannot overcome. For Machiavelli, the mask of deception is as crucial as the sword. He famously wrote in The Prince that a wise ruler cannot and should not keep his word when it is to his disadvantage to do so. This radical pragmatism acknowledges that truthfulness is a luxury few can afford in the ruthless pursuit of power. Instead, the ability to manipulate appearances, showing honesty while practicing deceit, is a survival skill. Machiavelli's endorsement of deception extends beyond mere political expediency. It is about shaping perception. He understood that people judge by what they see, not by what is. Therefore, rulers must present themselves as virtuous, compassionate, and just, even if their actions contradict these images. The mask must convince the public and rivals alike to accept and respect authority. However, Machiavelli warned against careless or excessive deceit. A ruler who is caught in lies risks losing credibility and inciting rebellion. Thus, deception must be strategic and measured, woven seamlessly into governance. It requires an acute awareness of timing, audience, and consequences. Deception also serves to create a controlled narrative, one that keeps the ruler's enemies off balance. By fostering uncertainty and misinformation, a ruler can manipulate opponents into mistakes, division, and paranoia. This psychological warfare ensures that rivals are constantly reacting rather than acting. The role of deception in Machiavelli's philosophy is not limited to external enemies. It also applies internally to subjects, nobles, and allies. Maintaining order often requires masking true intentions, promising reforms, while delaying them or using generosity to placate discontent. The mask of power is multifaceted, adapting to different audiences with tailored illusions. Machiavelli's insights resonate through history and into modern times. Political leaders, CEOs, and strategists continue to employ these lessons, crafting images and controlling narratives to maintain their grip on power. The mask of deception remains as relevant today as it was in Renaissance Italy. As we explore Machiavelli's views, it becomes clear that deception is not about mere trickery, but about survival and dominance. It is a sophisticated psychological tool, a dance of shadows that shapes reality. Reflect on this. How do those in power around you use deception? What masks are you wearing? Recognizing these dynamics is the first step toward mastering your own mask and wielding deception wisely. Next, we will examine historical masters who exemplified Machiavelli's principles using deception to build empires, topple rivals, and secure lasting influence. History offers us a gallery of figures who perfected the art of deception, embodying Machiavelli's vision of power cloaked in illusion. These masters understood that truth is often a liability in the ruthless pursuit of dominance. Their legacies reveal how the mask of deception is not merely a disguise, but a weapon that shapes fate. One iconic example is Julius Caesar, whose rise to power was as much about political cunning as military might. Caesar's ability to manipulate public perception and political alliances allowed him to ascend above rivals who relied solely on force. His calculated charm masked ambition, and his public generosity concealed ruthless intent. By controlling the narrative around his actions, Caesar created an image of a benevolent leader while consolidating absolute power. Another master of deception was Cardinal Richelieu, the chief minister to King Louis III of France. Richelieu's genius lay in his capacity to orchestrate complex political intrigues while maintaining a facade of loyalty and piety. He used spies, misinformation, and strategic alliances to weaken his enemies, all while projecting an image of religious devotion and statecraft. His subtle manipulations shifted the balance of power in Europe and strengthened the French monarchy, illustrating the profound effectiveness of deception at the highest levels. Moving forward in history, Queen Elizabeth I of England displayed remarkable skill in using deception to secure her reign. Navigating religious conflicts and foreign threats, Elizabeth cultivated an enigmatic public persona. Her carefully managed appearances and ambiguous statements kept rivals guessing, preventing any single faction from gaining too much influence. The Virgin Queen mask became a symbol of mystery and power, allowing her to maintain control in a male-dominated political landscape. In more modern times, Richard Nixon's political career, though ultimately undone by scandal, highlights the double-edged nature of deception and power. Nixon's secretive strategies and covert operations were aimed at preserving authority, but also fostered a culture of paranoia and mistrust. His downfall underscores Machiavelli's warning that deception, if mishandled, can erode legitimacy and provoke collapse. Finally, consider Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II combined transparency with subtle manipulation. Through his fireside chats, Roosevelt crafted a narrative of calm reassurance while privately navigating complex political and military strategies. His ability to manage public perception through selective revelation and concealment exemplifies how deception need not be overt or malicious to be effective. These historical masters illustrate that deception in power is multifaceted, ranging from grand political theater to subtle psychological maneuvering. Their successes and failures offer timeless lessons on the necessity of the mask, the art of illusion, and the careful balance required to maintain authority. As you reflect on these figures, ask yourself, what can their strategies teach you about the masks you wear or encounter? How might understanding their deceptions sharpen your own approach to influence? In the next section, we will dissect the psychological mechanisms behind effective deception, revealing how these masters manipulated perception and cognition to secure their dominion. Deception is not merely about telling lies or hiding the truth. It is an intricate psychological game that manipulates perception, cognition, and emotion. To wield deception as Machiavelli advised, one must understand the underlying mechanisms that make it so powerful and elusive. At the heart of deception lies the brain's natural tendency to fill in gaps in information with assumptions, desires, or fears. Humans are wired to seek patterns and coherence, often accepting incomplete or misleading narratives because they satisfy cognitive biases or emotional needs. Effective deception exploits this by presenting partial truths or carefully crafted illusions that guide perception without outright falsehood. One critical psychological principle is confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that confirms existing beliefs. A skilled deceiver aligns their false narrative with what the target wants or expects to believe. This reduces skepticism and facilitates acceptance as people unconsciously filter information through their preconceptions. Another mechanism is cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort experienced when holding conflicting beliefs. When confronted with contradictory evidence, people often reject or rationalize it to preserve their existing worldview. Deception leverages this by creating scenarios where acknowledging the truth would disrupt comforting beliefs or self-identity, encouraging denial and acceptance of the falsehood instead. Emotions also play a pivotal role. Fear, hope, pride, and loyalty can override rational analysis, making individuals more susceptible to manipulation. Deceptive leaders understand how to evoke these emotions, strategically offering hope, while hiding threats, stoking fear to unify or control, or appealing to pride to obscure inconvenient truths. The concept of social proof, the tendency to follow the behavior or beliefs of others, further amplifies deception's reach. When deception is woven into social norms, traditions, or collective narratives, it gains momentum and legitimacy, making it harder to detect or challenge. Moreover, deception thrives on controlled disclosure, selectively revealing information to build trust while concealing critical details. This creates an illusion of transparency and honesty, lulling targets into complacency. The deceiver appears open, yet the full picture remains obscured, maintaining the upper hand. Machiavelli's insight was to wield these psychological forces with precision. The mask of power is not just a disguise, but a tool to shape the mental landscape of allies and adversaries alike. It creates uncertainty, confusion, and misdirection, forcing opponents into reactive positions. The fear of the unknown is a powerful motivator. By keeping true intentions hidden, a leader fosters an environment of unpredictability that discourages opposition. Uncertainty saps confidence and divides potential alliances, further consolidating the deceiver's control. However, the use of psychological deception requires finesse. Overreach or inconsistency can trigger suspicion and backlash. Maintaining credibility demands a careful balance between truth and illusion, managing expectations without exposing contradictions. Understanding these mechanisms empowers you to not only craft more effective masks, but also to detect and defend against deception in others. Awareness transforms deception from a source of vulnerability into a strategic asset. As we proceed, prepare to learn how to craft and maintain your own mask of power, applying these psychological principles to create an enduring presence that commands respect and conceals your true hand. Deception, when wielded skillfully, transforms from mere falsehood into an art form, the mask of power. Crafting this mask is not about living a lie, but about shaping perception, strategically protecting your vulnerabilities while projecting strength and authority. Machiavelli's timeless wisdom teaches us that every leader must become an actor on the grand stage of power, donning the right masks to control the narrative and command respect. The first step in crafting your mask is self-awareness. Understand your strengths, weaknesses, and the perceptions others hold of you. This knowledge allows you to tailor your mask to amplify virtues and conceal flaws. The mask should resonate with your desired image, yet remain believable and consistent, an authentic performance that convinces both allies and adversaries. Next, control your emotional expression. A masterful mask conceals the turbulent feelings beneath and reveals emotions selectively to serve strategic goals. For example, displaying calm confidence in crisis instills trust, while a calculated show of anger can intimidate rivals. The mask's emotional language must be deliberate and measured to maintain credibility. Consistency is critical. Inconsistencies between words, actions, and expressions erode the mask's effectiveness. The most convincing masks are those that persist across different contexts and over time, weaving a coherent narrative that becomes your public persona. This reliability builds trust and deters scrutiny. The mask should also incorporate symbolic elements, visual cues, style rituals that reinforce your authority. Historical leaders understood this well. The crown, the scepter, the ceremonial robes, or even a signature gesture become extensions of the mask, signaling power non-verbally. In modern contexts, your tone, dress, and demeanor play similar roles, crafting an aura that commands attention. Another essential aspect is managing information flow. Control what is revealed and what remains hidden. Share just enough to build rapport and trust, but retain mysteries that keep others guessing. The unknown creates intrigue and prevents opponents from fully understanding or predicting your moves. This information asymmetry is a cornerstone of strategic deception. Adapting the mask to your audience is equally vital. Different groups, subordinates, peers, rivals require tailored performances. The mask you wear in a boardroom differs from that in a public forum or private negotiation. Machiavelli's advice to rulers to be a chameleon underscores the need for flexibility in appearance and approach, ensuring the mask remains effective across diverse settings. Maintaining the mask demands vigilance and continuous refinement. Monitor how others respond and adjust as needed to shore up weaknesses or exploit new opportunities. Like a skilled actor, your performance involves responding to shifting circumstances without revealing the underlying truths. Yet this art of deception is not about abandoning integrity entirely. The most enduring masks incorporate genuine values and competencies. Authenticity beneath the mask grounds your authority, preventing the performance from becoming hollow or unmasked under pressure. Remember, the mask is both shield and weapon, a means to protect your vulnerabilities, while projecting an image that commands respect and fear. Machiavelli knew that the prince who masters his mask controls not only his image, but also the fate of those who watch and follow. As you develop your mask, consider this. How do your current behaviors, words, and appearance shape others' perceptions? What elements can you enhance or conceal to wield influence more effectively? In our final section, we will explore how integrating deception and emotional mastery into your leadership style solidifies your power and creates an enduring legacy. Deception is the shadow behind every great display of power, a mask that conceals true intentions while shaping perceptions. Machiavelli taught us that mastery of this art is essential for survival and dominance in the ruthless game of influence. It is not mere trickery, but a calculated performance, blending truth and illusion to command respect and control. As you refine your own mask of power, remember that deception must be wielded with skill, balance, and awareness. Too much exposes you. Too little leaves you vulnerable. The ultimate power lies in controlling not just what others see, but how they interpret what they see. If this exploration has opened your eyes, share your thoughts below, like and subscribe for more insights into the hidden forces that shape leadership and authority. Our journey continues. Soon stay ready to uncover the next secret that will elevate your mastery of power. Until then, wear your mask wisely and lead with unwavering confidence.